I have not seen the legislation, but I've been very clear ever since I've been governor. I do not support taking down monuments in this state. We've got to stop with this, okay? You know, it's like you learn from history, and you do that. But to try to just say, and here's the thing, when they'll say, oh, well, 5 years ago, it's like, oh, well, they just didn't want some Civil War general or whatever. And then now that's turned into taking down Thomas Jefferson and Teddy Roosevelt and Lincoln, taking Washington's name off schools. It is nuts. And so I've just said, no, we're not going to support removing any monuments or taking down any statutes. We've created some protections when we did the anti-rioting legislation because people were trying to topple stuff, so we added some penalties there. But I think it's totally appropriate for the legislature to say, you know what, we're going to stop the madness. We're not going to do. I heard people in Jacksonville want to take down Andrew Jackson. What are we going to rename the city? I mean, come on. We've got to stop doing this, and I think that it's not something that's going to end up working out well for us, and especially it's like, you know, who's next? Okay, you're already up to like Lincoln and Teddy Roosevelt. I mean, you're going to go on and on there, because if you're going to apply some type of hyper woke 21st century test to pass people, you're going to run into turbulence with MLK Jr. You're going to run into turbulence with a lot of people. And it's like, is that really how we view history? No, history is what it is. You learn from it, and then you try to do the best you can going forward. So I'm 100% against removing the monuments. I think it's just gone too far. Yeah, so I have to look at that. I mean, look, anything that's been taken down since I've been governor, that's not anything I've supported. I don't know how many have been. I know there's been controversy here in this area. I think it's been relatively minor, but my view is you don't take down. And so if someone is taken down, I think that's a mistake. Yes, sir. It's not targeting anybody. It's just we got to recognize what's the fact, okay? You're born one way or another. There's only two, okay? You know, I get this like thing where people say like, you know, you have a baby and it's like a gender assigned at birth. No. I mean, God's been doing this a while, okay? It's either one or the other, and that's just what it is. Now, how someone conceives of themselves and all that is subjective, okay? And so I think what we have to do from the state perspective is just focus on the objective biological realities, because the minute you go off of that, the minute it can be subjective, well, what else can be subjective? And there's a whole host of other things that you could just say is that. So it's not targeting anybody. It's just how do you have to root your policy? And I think we just have to root our policy in truth and in fact. And so that's what it is. You're born one way or you're born the other, and that's just how we got to roll. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're in contact with Texas DPS. Basically, Texas has had this EMAC request. It's been pretty standard. This is not necessarily anything new that they've needed support. They've been asking for support, so it's in response to that. But I do think for us, we really started thinking about, we've done a lot, but we saw what was happening with the barricades, and we wanted to make sure those barricades could be erected. And so if our folks can help with that, we thought that was something that was very important. So, so they're going to be working together. Exactly where they'll go will really be done in conjunction with Texas. I anticipate people will start moving out relatively shortly, and will likely be busing a lot of people over to the state of Texas. So I think it's a great mission. It's interesting. Having talked to folks who've done it, there's a lot of passion in this mission for folks. I've talked to a lot of the FHP guys, FDLE. It's not easy work because you're away from your family. You're in some of these places in Texas, South Texas. As a native Floridian, I remember we did an event there in June on the border. That was the hottest I've ever been in my life. Hotter than Iraq, hotter than Florida in August or September. I mean, it was really, really bad. But then in the winter, it actually gets pretty cold too. So it's in terms of the climate, it can be challenging. And so we've had a lot of guys that have been out there that have done really, really well. We appreciate the service. We know that we're asking to step up and supplement what you're already doing. I want to thank all the agencies, FHP. I want to thank FDLE. I want to thank National Guard. They have day jobs that they do here, and so they're not really subtracting from anything they're already doing. They're still doing all the stuff that they normally do. They're just doing extra duty to be able to help this country. So I think that's really good service. And ultimately, when you're involved in any type of public service, that's what it's all about. Are you making a difference in people's lives or not? And these folks are making a difference, and Florida is making a difference. Thanks, everybody. God bless.